You are about to witness my story. Some say it'll go down in history books, that literature may one day be written about it, that in 2,000 years it may transcend itself and become a thing of religious equivalence. But for me, it's simply a dark moment. A moment involving a boy and a button. There. I stood in the earlies of that January day, a spry 23, attending a festival, the Thespian Arts at the university in eastern Pennsylvania. There were many among us, Big M, Little M, Davy, Mary, myself.
Hi.
And Donna.
Hey!
But Donna didn't say anything. We were young, innocent, hungry to prove ourselves, hungry to reach our potential, and hungry for the free, all-you-can-eat buffet being held at the Student Center every morning between 7 and 10. There is nothing like a hot cup of coffee and a slice of cherry pie, and pizza with fries, and tacos and ice cream and ranch dressing. But I foodgress. For it is important to understand that earlier that morning, I had found myself in a dilemma.
Donna,
What?
I got a problem.
So what is it?
The button on my pants is broken.
So just wear your backup pants.
I didn't bring backup pants.
What?
I didn't think I would need it.
We're gonna go perform our scene for the entire campus in an hour. You can't go with the barn door open for everyone to see.
Well, what would you have me do? Duct tape it?
Here.
What is it?
It's a button, Genie. I keep them around for costume emergencies. You just pin it on your pants and it becomes a fake button.
Wow, that actually worked. What do you call it?
A button, Genie.
Oh, and a button genie it was. But not the delightful Disney Robin Williams one. Instead of granting wishes, this genie only granted hell. For you see, after Donna had given me the genie, after we had nailed our performance, and well after we had eaten at the buffet, we had elected to watch an experimental piece in which kabuki actors performed a Neil Simon play. I would like to say it was good, but this is a tragedy. As we sat there analyzing, judging, oh, how we judged. The coffee and cherry pie and ranch that I had eaten earlier had joined together, causing a chemical reaction which had never occurred before. And suddenly, I sensed a disturbance in the force. Simply put, I had to go. I had to go more than anyone has had to go in the history of people having to go. I didn't have to go soon. I didn't have to go later. I had to go now. I was in the early moment of this understanding that I immediately made my exit. I leaned over to discreetly excuse myself from the audience.
Excuse me, I have to poop.
Truly, I was one to match the bard himself. I made my way quickly down a beautiful golden hallway. I was in need of a restroom, but I was not in any worry, for I had no reason to be. This was but a routine moment in human biology. Soon enough, I found one, and I entered it quickly. The journey had been completed, but the deed was not yet done. As I made efforts to undo my fly, I noticed a sudden struggle between myself and the discount legwear I had purchased at the Burlington Coat Factory. The efforts on my part were strong-willed, and yet the pants refused to open. It was only then that I realized what devil was behind my sudden lack of ajar trousers. A genie by the name of Button. Suddenly, panic swept over me. I paced wildly back and forth within my 2-foot fiberglass cell. It became clear to me that I could simply remove my pants downward. But alas, they were a size too small, and frankly, these hips don't quit. Then, in a final act of desperation, I made one last-ditch effort. I would free myself, like Superman. From his suit, I would rip myself from this horrid prison. But ironically, like Superman, these pants seemed to be made out of some sort of Kryptonian fabric. Nothing was going to rip them. Now the fear sets in. Suddenly, the stall begins to get smaller and smaller. A toilet seat only 2 feet away seems miles away, and every passing second becomes an eternity. In those moments, your mind begins to take on a certain clarity. When your body involuntarily is about to do something you haven't done since you were 2. You begin to rethink your entire life.
I never got to see Paris.
While hard to believe, when one is in the state that my younger self currently finds himself in, one begins to, how should I say this, go insane. You begin to believe certain things to the rational, non-impended movement person would seem ridiculous in point.
If this happens, I'm just gonna die. There's no coming back from shit.
Or worse, you simply believe you will blink out of existence the moment occurs. Perhaps you think in less fantastical terms. You think to yourself,
If this happens, nobody's going to let me in their car. I'm gonna be stuck here forever.
suddenly your mind wanders to a distant future where you become a folk legend to the local community. Your life becomes an allegory for the dangers of not bringing an extra pair of pants in case the first ones break. You're restored to eating garbage from a convenience store called Sheetz. Because Eastern Pennsylvania isn't civilized enough to have a damn Wawa. The local youths tease you and laugh at you from afar. Occasionally, a mother and child will cross nearby.
Shh, Pookie, don't get too close. That's Old Man Poops Pants McGee. He's the stain of Eastern Penn.
All these thoughts and more plague the mind in such dramatic moments. Your body seems to go into sort of a self-sustaining mode where it focuses on only the basic means of keeping the body alive. In this case, it's not so dignified. But witness this, a young man full of hope in his prime, trapped within his own pants, merely inches away from the toilet, incapable of performing his lavatorial duty. If it were not for the Greeks that wrote it, surely the Bible would talk of such tragedy. Duty. But these are not laughing matters. In these times, one finds themselves going through their own personal 5 stages of grief. Denial,
There's no way this is gonna happen. There's just no way.
anger,
A button genie? Are you freaking serious? Damn you, Donna!
bargaining,
Jesus, if you could not let me crap my pants, that would be swell.
depression,
What's the point of even fighting anymore? There's no way out of this.
and, after what seems like an eternity, acceptance.
What?
Yes. In all his life, he never thought he would ever be in this situation. Never once did he expect the potential horrors he now faces. Not once did he ever expect such a circumstance. Would he have to admit to himself, it's going to happen?
It's gonna happen. I've lived 20 years and it's gonna happen.
There are things in life that change us. Sometimes it's war. Sometimes it's heartbreak. Sometimes it's loss. Nobody ever thinks about the damage something like this does.
Holy crap, this is gonna happen.
It's been a long journey, but the end is near. In those last moments, I used every bit of strength I had. I made a decision.
If this is how I go out, then I want to see something beautiful.
I left that bathroom stall feeling somewhat defeated. As if I were on the Green Mile heading towards certain doom, except Michael Clark Duncan won't be there to take my hand. I notice a student, completely at bliss, most likely talking about the Instagrams or the YOLOs, and I hated her for it.
Look at her. Young, happy, full of life. The whole world ahead of her. She's not about to do what I'm about to do.
I wandered down that golden hallway. It looked more beautiful than before. Now it was if a golden archway, assuring me into a safer, less gross afterlife. My mind began to look into the many corridors, hoping to find a desk with a pair of scissors. Perhaps I could cut open my pants. But how would I explain it to the secretary? No, it was too crazy. I eventually found myself in a lobby, observing a massive painting of a landscape. It was snowing outside. There were birds chirping. A beautiful silence. Around me were the hustle and bustle of young artists, full of hope and potential, fully unaware of the horrors about to occur. I sat there a moment thinking of Donna. Had it been true? Did I somehow never realize it? I loved Donna. By God, she was the reason for my turmoil, but damn it, I loved Donna. I pulled out my phone and texted her immediately.
Donna, I know this won't make any sense, and someday I hope you'll understand. But I love you. I love you more than anything, and under less traumatizing circumstances, I can only hope you would love me too.
That's it. All affairs are in order. The time is near. As I sat admiring that gorgeous painting, an old woman sat next to me. I thought about how she had lived a long and fulfilling life with a husband and children, and maybe even grandchildren. And not once in her entire life did she poop herself. I remember her making eye contact and smiling. I tried to smile too, but I was too full of grief. In a final moment, a last bit of resistance urged me to try anything.
What the hell?
I try one more time to free myself from the genie's evil grasp. And like a heavenly answer to my prayers, I found the button loosened, and the fly opened up as if it were the pearly gates themselves. I was in disbelief. Probably not as much disbelief as the old woman who had previously made eye contact with me, who now saw me unbutton myself, but still, disbelief.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
I got my bearings and bolted down the hallway. I was running faster than anyone could ever hope to run. If I was in the Olympics, I could have won every medal in track and field. The golden hallways, once so vivid, so clear, were now a golden tunnel blur. This was my chance. I had to prevail. The only thing that stood in my way was a student about to enter my stall.
Man, I really have to go.
Like hell you do!
There are certain moments in life that bring us to an absolute moment of solace. A birthday, a wedding, a first kiss, perhaps the birth of a child. But let me tell you, right now, Nothing compares to the joy I felt when I got through that door. What's the moral of the story? Who knows? Honor thy neighbor or something. I just know that this is one story I will never forget.